Trump's peace push, new talks underway with Russia and Ukraine. In a world increasingly shaped by conflict, divisions, and ongoing instability, a surprising development has captured global attention. Former U.S. President Donald Trump, who has long styled himself as a deal-maker and peacemaker on the world stage, is once again pushing forward with a peace initiative, this time aiming to bring Russia and Ukraine back to the negotiation table. With the war entering a prolonged and destructive phase, Trump's involvement comes at a time when both nations and the international community are desperate for even the faintest glimmer of resolution. The new talks, still at an early stage, have been described as exploratory but significant. According to sources familiar with the matter, Trump's team has opened discreet channels with figures close to both Moscow and Kiev. While no official commitments have been made, the fact that discussions are taking place suggests that diplomacy may once again have a chance, after months of intensified fighting. Trump's return to the peace spotlight. Donald Trump has never hidden his belief that he alone could resolve the Russia-Ukraine crisis swiftly. During his presidency, he often spoke of his ability to negotiate with world leaders, particularly Russian President Vladimir Putin. In recent months, Trump has reiterated that claim, telling supporters he could end the war within 24 hours if given the opportunity. Critics dismiss this as political bravado, but the latest developments suggest he may be moving from rhetoric to tangible action. Behind the scenes, sources reveal that Trump's advisors have been in quiet contact with intermediaries linked to both governments. The message is clear: Trump wants to mediate, or at least facilitate, a framework that could bring both sides closer to dialogue. Whether either Russia or Ukraine sees this as credible is still in question, but his attempt has already stirred debate within global diplomatic circles. Russia's position. For Moscow, Trump's re-entry into the peace conversation presents both opportunities and challenges. On one hand, Russian officials remain skeptical of Western intentions and deeply distrustful of U.S. foreign policy under the current administration. On the other hand, Trump's prior relationship with President Putin is well documented. Some in the Kremlin might view Trump as a figure who can break the diplomatic deadlock, especially as Russia grapples with sanctions, economic strain, and the high costs of sustaining the war. Still, analysts caution that Russia is unlikely to agree to concessions simply because Trump is involved. Moscow continues to insist that its core demands, particularly regarding control over contested territories, must be recognized. Any talks mediated by Trump would therefore need to address these thorny issues head-on. Ukraine's stance. For Kiev, Trump's peace push is equally complex. President Volodymyr Zelensky has consistently maintained that Ukraine will not accept any settlement that undermines its sovereignty or territorial integrity. Ukraine is adamant that Russian troops must withdraw from occupied areas and that international law must be upheld. Zelensky has worked closely with the Biden administration and European allies to secure military and financial support. Therefore, Trump's involvement carries political sensitivities. Would Ukraine risk alienating its current backers by engaging with Trump-led efforts? Or would it see this as an opportunity to diversify its diplomatic options? For now, Kiev has neither confirmed nor denied direct engagement with Trump's channels, keeping its options open while closely monitoring developments. The global dimension. The potential re-emergence of Trump in high-level diplomacy has not gone unnoticed internationally. European nations, already fatigued by the drawn-out war and its economic consequences, are watching with cautious interest. Some European leaders privately express hope that any new avenue of negotiation, even one led by Trump, could help de-escalate tensions. Others remain wary, fearing that Trump's approach might undercut existing international frameworks or pressure Ukraine into premature concessions. China, meanwhile, has also attempted to position itself as a potential mediator in the conflict, offering its own peace plan earlier this year. Trump's involvement could create a new layer of geopolitical competition, as major powers vie for influence over the direction of peace talks. U.S. domestic reactions. Within the United States, Trump's peace initiative has sparked a mix of reactions. Supporters argue that it demonstrates strong leadership and reinforces Trump's reputation as a bold negotiator willing to defy convention. They see his attempt as proof that he is still a key player in global affairs. Critics, however, are skeptical of both his motives and his methods. Some accuse Trump of using the crisis for political gain, particularly as he eyes another presidential run. Others warned that his involvement could complicate official U.S. foreign policy, which remains firmly aligned with Ukraine under the Biden administration. Obstacles on the path to peace. While the headlines about Trump's peace push generate excitement, the road ahead remains daunting. Several major obstacles stand in the way. 1. Territorial disputes. The issue of Crimea and eastern Ukraine remains unresolved, with both sides unwilling to compromise. 2. Security guarantees. Ukraine seeks ironclad assurances that its sovereignty will be protected, while Russia demands guarantees against NATO expansion. 3. Mutual distrust. Years of hostility, accusations of war crimes, and broken agreements have left both Moscow and Kyiv deeply distrustful. 4. International politics, with multiple players, from the U.S. to the EU to China, competing for influence, aligning interests will be a major challenge. Trump's involvement alone cannot erase these fundamental differences. Real progress will require not just dialogue, but sustained commitment from all sides. What's next? As of now, the talks remain informal and exploratory. Trump's advisors are said to be preparing proposals that outline possible confidence-building measures, such as localized ceasefires or prisoner exchanges. These small steps, if agreed upon, could serve as a foundation for larger negotiations in the future. Whether this initiative develops into a concrete peace process remains uncertain. But even the possibility of renewed talks has shifted the global conversation, injecting a degree of cautious optimism into an otherwise bleak conflict. Conclusion. Donald Trump's peace push in the Russia-Ukraine war is a reminder that diplomacy can emerge from unexpected places. While skeptics question his motives and methods, the fact remains that his initiative has opened a new discussion about the possibilities for peace. The world will now be watching closely. Can Trump, once dismissed as a political outsider, transform his reputation as a disruptor into that of a peacemaker? Or will this attempt fade away like so many others before it? For now, one thing is certain: the path to peace remains uncertain, but even the smallest steps forward matter.